Hello guys, it's James here from Inside United, and today I'm going to be predicting the 2016-2017 Barclays Premier League table based on transfers, where they finished last season, their squad. So I'm just going to go through each team as it goes. Well, not every team, but some teams. So let's go into it. So the bottom three for me, I think, will be Middlesbrough, Hull and Bournemouth. I think Middlesbrough will finish bottom 20th. The reason why I think Middlesbrough will finish 20th is because, they've just come up. I don't really, they've brought in Negredo, they've brought in Victor Valdez, they've brought in some Premier League players, but I still don't think their squad is capable of staying in the Premier League, and they haven't been in the Premier League for a long time, so I don't think they'll be able to adapt to it as quick. Hull as well, I think they're another team will go straight up, go straight down. Steve Bruce has already gone. I don't think their squad's that strong either, so I think they'll get relegated. And the other team is Bournemouth. I was surprised how they stayed up last season, and I think they'll go down as well, especially with Ritchie going to Newcastle. So as you can see, these are the teams who I think will just avoid relegation next season, and they are Sunderland, Watford, Burnley and Crystal Palace. Those are the four sides who I think will still be in the sort of relegation mix as we enter the last couple of the games of the season, and will probably just stay up on the final day of the season. Crystal Palace probably just ahead of them other three, but I do think that those four will be the teams who are in that relegation battle for next season. So these are the teams who I think will finish 13th, 12th, 11th and 10th. I think Swansea will finish 13th, West Brom 12th, Stoke 11th, and I think Everton will finish right in the middle of the table. Obviously Everton didn't have a great season last year. They've obviously brought in Coman and they've brought in some players like Ashley Williams and that, but I still don't think their team will be enough to finish in the top 8. I think Stoke, they will just fall in the bottom half of the season, and West Brom and Swansea will beat the other teams who just fall into the bottom half as well this season. Then I think Southampton will finish in 9th. I'm not sure how well they're going to cope without Ronald Koeman. I think he was the manager who really took Southampton as one of the big hard teams to beat in the league. But I think losing him and losing players like Mane means that I think Southampton will finish in 9th. And I think Leicester, last season's champions, I think will fall short quite off, finishing winners this year, and I don't think they'll get top 4, don't think they'll get top 6, and I think they will finish in 8th. I think, losing such a good player in Kante and maybe possibly Mahrez, and it's going to be hard for some of their key players from last season to hit their form again. Then in 7th place, I think it will be West Ham. Obviously they're playing in the Olympic Stadium this season. They've also got Europa League commitments as well. But for me, I think they'll finish 7th. I think if they can get Dimitri Payet to hit proper form again, then hit his form like he did last season and in the Euros, then I reckon they could finish above that. But for me, I think West Ham will finish 7th, because I think compared to the other teams who are going to put in the top 6, I don't think the squad is as strong, and they haven't really improved their squad as much as many would have thought they could have done. So for me, West Ham to finish 7th, and I think Liverpool will finish 6th. They'll get that. I think that does get Europa League, I think. So I think Liverpool will finish 6th. I mean, compared to the teams who are going to finish above them in the top 5, I think they've improved their squads more than what Liverpool have done. I think they've signed that Grujic and they've signed Mane, but do I think they're going to be really enough to put them into the top 4? Maybe not. Then in 5th, I think it's going to be Mauricio Pochettino's side, Tottenham. Obviously last season they finished 3rd, they could have finished 2nd, but they fluffed it against Newcastle in the last day of the season. So far, I believe they haven't actually brought in anyone apart from Vincent Janssen, so I don't think they're actually going to do that well in the league. They haven't really developed their squad enough. I mean, they brought in Wanyama, but did he really do that much to make Tottenham last season to make Tottenham an even better side? And also will Alderweireld, Danny Rose, Ali, Kane all live up to what they did last season? Because what I saw in the Euros, it shows that they can blow hot and cold, and if they're not playing as well as they can do, like they did in the Euros, then I don't think Tottenham will be as strong as they are next season. So for that reason, I think they'll finish in 5th place. Then in 4th place, taking up the first Champions League place, I think it's going to be Arsenal. They finished 2nd last year, 3rd the year before, but I think they're going to get their normal 4th place spot this year. So far, they have signed Rob Holding from Bolton, but apart from that, that's it. You know, they've wanted Mustafi, Mahrez and Lacazette, but they haven't got any of them so far. So for me, I think that's probably, you know, I think that's it for them. They got Xhaka as well, didn't they? But for me, I don't think they've strengthened nowhere near as enough as what the other teams do. They need a new striker, in my opinion. They haven't got one. They've still got Wenger. 4th place for Arsenal. In 3rd place, I'm going to have to give it to Antonio Conte's Chelsea. Last season, undoubtedly, it was the Chelsea's worst ever season for a while, or ever. You know, it just wasn't like Chelsea. You know, the season before they had won the league, stormed to the league. Everyone thought, you know, they're going to win it again this year. And it just didn't happen, did it? You know, and it just showed that the players weren't playing for him. Gus Hiddink came in. But they still weren't superb, and I think they finished 9th in the end. But for me, I think Chelsea are going to climb back up the table, and I think they're going to finish 3rd. You know, it's a work in progress for Conte. He won't think they can win the league this season, but you never know, they might do. But I don't think they will. I think they'll finish 3rd. They've made 2 good signings in N'Golo Kante, who was, for me, one of the greatest players in the Premier League last season. Probably the greatest midfielder in the league. And for the price they got for him, that was a superb signing. And they've also signed Batshuayi, who I think is how you pronounce it, I'm not sure, for 32 million, I believe, as well, who I'm not really don't really know too much about, but you know, he could be another one who could help Diego Costa fire in the goals at Chelsea. So I think, and also Antonio Conte, you know, he's a good manager as well. You know, he did very well with Italy in the Euro, so I think Chelsea will do well, and I think Chelsea will finish 3rd in the league this season. Now, I'm torn between who I think will win the Premier League, and I'm torn between 2 teams, and that is Manchester United and Manchester City. Now, I'm fairly confident, I'm probably 90% confident that the title will be finishing and being lifted in Manchester next season, either to City or United. And as you can see, I've put down United or City for 2nd, and I've put down United or City for 1st, because I really don't know who I think will win this Premier League title. But I do think it will come down to one of these 2 sides. Now, you're probably thinking, why don't you just put down a side? You know, just go with one team, go with your gut, go with your head, just put down a team, just gamble, just put one down to a team. And I really wanted to do that, but at the same time, you know, I didn't, because if I put United down, and you know, I'll put my faith in United, but the negative is that if we end up coming to the end of the season and United haven't won the league, then I feel like, you know, I expected too much at the start of the season, and I'll be left disappointed. Because I'm starting to build myself up that I would win the league if I predicted us to win the league. But then I don't want to go with City, because then I don't want to go against United, bearing in mind I'm a Manchester United fan and this is a Manchester United channel. So for that reason, I've put them both down. I think these 2 will be the top 2. I just don't know whether it'll be United or whether it'll be City finishing top, or who will be finishing 2nd. That's my only opinion. I mean, both teams have a strong side. Both teams finished on the same points last season and won 1 trophy. Man City have brought in some good players like Gundogan, Nolito and Leroy Sané. Manchester United obviously brought in, for me, I think, even better players in Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Paul Pogba and Henrik Mkhitaryan, as well as Eric Bailly, who I think looks very good. Looking at his Community Shield performance, so I think Manchester United's team is getting stronger, and I think both teams is very strong. Pep Guardiola now in at City, you know, a very good manager. Jose Mourinho now in at Man United, a very good manager. So I don't know what way this is going to go, and the reason why I don't want to predict is because last season I said Chelsea, and we finished 9th, and the team who won it was Leicester, who no one saw coming. But for me, I think it will be City or United who win the